Today's horror manga dubbing narration is Graveman by Junji Ito. I'd like to take this time to give a very special thanks to ErisVox for offering her voice in the video. Check her out in the description below as well as pinned in the top comment. Anyways, without further ado, let's get right into Junji Ito's Graveman. I hope you all enjoy.
I recently moved into a different apartment. It's a 2DK, built in 1990. It's got its own veranda facing south and gets good sunlight, even though it's on the first floor. Even so, rent is pretty cheap, and I think I know why. Across from the veranda, it's a sea of graves.
She stared out through her veranda, analyzing the gravestones meticulously, until...
I'm glad I picked this place, 'cause it's cheap and all, but it really is creepy. Welcome to my place, Naoto.
This is the famous graveyard place, eh, Mimi? You sure are a quirky girl moving into a place like this. Pretty lonely graveyard, eh?
Almost nobody ever comes here. A lot of these graves don't seem to be looked after. Hey, Naoto, what do you think that is? I've been wondering for a while.
She pointed toward a large mound in the middle of the graveyard. Huh? Is it a burial mound, maybe?
A burial mound? What is that?
Well, when they bury people, they pile up the dirt like that. Then, by the time the body is decomposed, the ground will be leveled out again.
No way. You mean this cemetery has burial plots? Quit trying to scare me. This is the city, you know?
I guess you're right. They wouldn't be burying people here these days. Sorry, Mimi. Don't even worry about it. But Mimi still couldn't help but feel a little uneasy. Later that night...
I can't stop thinking about it. I hope those aren't really burial plots.
She glanced over. That was when she started to hear a strange sound. It was some sort of scraping. It continued to chime from outside her window.
Huh? What is that?
She opened the curtain, peering outside. But unfortunately, to her dismay,
it's way too dark to see anything.
The volume of the strange sound continued to increase. The next day, when she was walking out from her apartment unit...
Really now, what was all that noise last night?
She noticed a muscular man lifting weights. She greeted him.
Good morning.
Oh, howdy. Morning.
Hey, did you hear any weird noises last night?
Noises?
Yeah, these odd sounds coming from the cemetery in the middle of the night.
Sorry, guess I didn't notice. But it is a cemetery. Maybe a weasel was going through people's offerings or something.
Oh, maybe. I guess. No way. It wasn't just some weasel.
That was when she passed by that strange burial mound once again. She stared at it for a moment as sweat dripped down her cheek. However, today she noticed something peculiar.
What the? The headstone is crooked. Is it supposed to be like that? No, look. It's all marked up where it's been moved. Why is it like that?
That night, once again, she heard the strange grinding noise. But to make matters worse, the sound was even louder.
After that, I started hearing those noises just about every night. Is that The sound of those gravestones turning.
She quickly peered out through the window, and what she saw was some sort of strange spirit-like aura. It was moving all about the graveyard.
Spirits!
Say what? Spirits?
Yeah.
Wow, must have been burning phosphorus.
Phosphorus?
Buried bodies emit it. Then it burns up and people mistake it for spirits. So, I guess those are burial plots after all.
Don't tell me stuff like that!
So that's why you've been keeping the curtains shut lately, huh?
Even with them shut, I get a real uneasy feeling here, Naoto. Like I'm being watched from outside by hundreds of eyes. But nobody's ever there when I peek through the curtains.
I'm sure it's all in your head.
But the headstone really was turned! Go see for yourself if you think I'm lying.
And so, the two of them journeyed out to the graveyard, walking about through those tombstones. Hey, you're right. It is turned. Amy, check out that grave over there. The headstone has been flipped completely backwards. Not just there. If you look around, lots of graves are facing different directions.
So, I was right. Every night, more and more graves are turning. It's gotta be a curse or something.
Are you serious? Graves don't just move on their own, somebody moved them. But who would move all these? There's so many. Mimi, let's get back inside.
Huh? Why? What happened?
Two of them quickly ran back into her apartment, slamming the door behind them. And the boyfriend, he moved toward the curtain and quickly peered outside. What they saw, they couldn't believe their very eyes. Mimi, every grave in the area is facing us. It wasn't like this before, was it?
Oh my god, you're right. I hadn't noticed. They were facing the other way before.
That's probably why you felt like you're being watched. All these graves were faced toward you. It's just a feeling, though.
Man, why is this?
Mimi, is that your next door neighbor?
Oh, yeah. He's always out there working out.
Huh? Due to the strange events, he decided to stay late into the night. Mimi, what time is it now?
2 a.m. should start any minute now.
Just like the night before, the strange sound began. He turned on the lights and opened up the curtain, and what they saw was that strange aura once again, traveling about the graveyard. It continued to traverse about until finally it moved toward a strange silhouette. That was when they realized, hey, it's a person! Someone's out there! It was an unmistakable silhouette. That man was pulling out the gravestone. Wow! That's your neighbor. So, he's been doing this. But why? You. He did a dramatic pose and then he moved toward another gravestone, stopping for a moment and then grabbing it with both arms. Hey, you! What are you doing out there? What happened? Let's go check it out. The two of them ventured out in the darkness toward that man. It was around here. That was when they saw him. What? He had fallen into a grave right next to a skeleton. He fell into an open grave! Hey, you alright, mister? Amy, let's just call 911!
The police arrived right away. They took the man back to the station for questioning. The next day, people gathered at the cemetery after realizing what had happened. Obviously, no one was pleased.
Can you believe this? Of all the directions, why'd we have to pick north? We better fix these quick. Damn, it's heavy.
And so, in time, the gravestones were returned, back to their original positions.
That jerk better compensate us. These cranes ain't cheap.
The two of them watched from inside her apartment. I still don't get it though. Why was that guy moving all the graves?
It's a mystery, I guess, but I just can't believe these are all burial plots. I wish I could ditch this place fast. No money for that, though.
Well, it's not like those corpses are gonna come crawling out of the ground. You've just gotta get your mind off those spirits and you'll be fine.
I'd rather not deal with them altogether.
Later that day. Well, I'll see ya, Mimi.
Okay. Take care getting home.
Huh? He's back already? Guess moving graves around is only worth a slap on the wrist. As the night waned on, once again the strange happenings occurred.
It's that guy.
Huh?
Hello. So sorry about last night. Those officers sure gave me a talking to.
It's just that I love basking all the attention. It's my ultimate pleasure.
The attention?
From the graves. Well, from the ghosts, I should say. Being watched by all those ghosts is the ultimate ecstasy. Once again, she heard the strange scraping noise.
Huh? Again, it never ends.
For you see, in the graveyard, that strange, muscular neighbor was once again turning the orientation of the graves.
He's gonna move all the graves so they're facing us again. Hasn't he learned a damn thing? This is so wrong. There's spirits flying everywhere. And this guy shifting graves around in the middle of the night? And also he can show off his body to them? He's nuts. Must have lived a very lonely life up until now. Nobody paid him any attention. So now he's turned to these graves for it.
He continued to pose strangely and then moved toward another stone.
You.
But something was not quite right about this gravestone. It had all kinds of strange, otherworldly faces on it. Not to mention a weird symbol.
You.
But it wasn't just the one gravestone. It was the entire graveyard. Each one of them, as if they were staring right at Mimi. She screamed at the top of her lungs, closing the blinds and hiding under her blankets.
I spent the rest of the night shivering under that blanket. The graves really were watching me. So very many gazing eyes. The next day, people in the neighborhood discovered he'd been moving the graves again, and they started to protest. He couldn't exactly stick around after that. and it wasn't long before he moved away. I'm not sure what happened to him after that. I wonder if he's doing the same thing at some other cemetery. Afterward, the graves behind that apartment building were all returned again to their original positions. However, a few graves by my veranda were left untouched. It seems they weren't being kept by anyone. And so it is that they continue, gazing at me from across the veranda.
Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching. I'd like to take this time to give a very special thanks to my Patreons and YouTube members. Sarah de Jesus, Moto Surf, Cleo, Dason Animus, Ali Wei, Pteranodon Girl 1, and Minue. Thank you so much for watching, and remember, you're important and you matter. Have a good night, everyone. Goodbye.